The Chernobyl accident was a nuclear accident caused by an experiment gone wrong. The result was a highly radioactive explosion that released a large amount of radioactivity into the surrounding environment. The accident occurred in 1986 and has led to many complications with the environment and the people around the area. Some parts of the area are still radioactive. In 2011, the area became a highly regulated tourist attraction. The government is still working on the resettlement of the areas that were affected.
The accident itself was basically caused by an experiment gone bad. The experiment was meant to see how well the cooling system works under low power from the reactor. They started by turning off the automatic shutdown mechanism and lowering down control rods to lower the output of the reactor. However, they lowered the output too quickly, almost causing the reactor to completely shut down. They started raising control rods to increase the power output again, and began the experiment once power reached around 12%. While trying to increase the output, they ended up raising all but 6 control rods, while the minimum for safe operation was 30. This caused the reactor to overheat. Since the automatic shutdown was disabled, they pressed the emergency shutdown to try and stop the reactor. However, the control rods ended up just displacing more coolant and concentrating the reactivity to the bottom of the reactor. This ended up causing a series of explosions, destroying the reactor and sending radioactive debris out into the world.
There has been a nuclear accident in the Soviet Union, and the Soviets have admitted that it happened. The Soviet version is this. One of the atomic reactors at the Chernobyl atomic power plant near the city of Kiev was damaged, and there is speculation in Moscow that people were injured and may have died.
It's near the city of Kiev, population 2.5 million, and about 1,000 miles from Scandinavia, meaning that whatever did occur there, a radioactive cloud headed north across Poland today and into Denmark, where radiation levels were 5 times normal, to Finland 6 times normal, to Norway up 50%, and Sweden illegally high.
This is Roger Peterson. Until the accident, there were 50 nuclear reactors operating in the Soviet Union, generating 11% of that nation's electricity. Most of the larger Soviet plants differ in design from U.S. reactors. The major difference is most Soviet nuclear plants do not have containment buildings, the thick concrete dome structures Americans are used to seeing built around U.S. reactors. When the worst American nuclear accident occurred at 3 Mile Island, most leaking radiation was kept inside the containment building, unlike this Soviet accident, where radiation has been measured 600 to 1,000 miles away.
Radioactive material was released over a time period of 10 days, which has led to heavy contamination in animals and plant life. Some areas are much worse than others, such as forests and closed lakes, which may be contaminated for decades to come, due to the quick transfer of radioactive materials and the radioactive materials' naturally long life. Wildlife and plant life that were living within 20 kilometers to 30 kilometers, what this area is known as the exclusion zone, of the site seem to have been immediately affected. The types of effects varied from organism to organism based on the level of radiation dosage and the organism's sensitivity to it. Despite the tragedy, the exclusion zone has procured a new age of studies upon the effects of radiation in plant and wildlife, and some say it has become a unique biodiversity sanctuary. Also, the removal of human activity has allowed the plant and wildlife to prosper and increase in population. In some cases, there are even new genetics in the species that were affected by the radiation, proving that there were some positive effects.
The disaster has had many effects on the people that worked at the site, the people that worked on containing the disaster, and the people living in the area. The number of deaths caused by the accident is still highly debated and discussed today. 134 emergency workers were diagnosed with ARS, or acute radiation sickness, which killed 28 of the workers. The radiation left from the accident has also led to an increase in cancer cases in the area, particularly thyroid cancer. This is partially caused by kids in the area that drank milk from cows that ate contaminated grass. So far, 15 people are known to have died from thyroid cancer caused by the accident, out of around 4,000 reported cases. The radiation has also led to a slight increase in other types of cancer. While it is unknown exactly how many people have died because of the accident, it has affected many people.
The Chernobyl site is still in the process of being cleaned up. However, they started to resettle parts of the area back in July of 2010. While many areas are still contaminated, some areas are clean enough to the point at which it is safe for human habitation. Chernobyl is still one of the most famous radioactive places on Earth and has been transformed into a sort of tourist attraction that has helped to raise money for cleanup. All of Chernobyl's reactors have been decommissioned and a new safe confinement (NSC) building is expected to be completed in November of 2017. The NSC building will allow for the remote removal of the dangerous materials still hiding in the destroyed reactor. With the NSC project in motion, we are finally beginning to clean up the source of this disaster, which will hopefully help us to clean up the entirety of the area.
In short, the Chernobyl accident was a wake-up call and a great exploration. It woke us up to the potential dangers of faulty nuclear reactors and dangerous nuclear experiments. Afterwards, it continually allowed us to study and discover new sciences upon the effects of radiation on humans, animals, and the environment.